how was your trip? You like came back on Saturday?
Yeah, I was like, wait, you came back so early.
We were going to go Friday night, but Logan worked until 6 and we all just kind of decided like I'd rather sleep in my bed tonight. So let's just go up early on Saturday morning. So we were there Saturday all day and then we left on Sunday morning. So yeah, it was a short trip, but it was really fun. Okay. Yeah, it's funny. We stayed across. My mom is now friends with the woman who was my PE teacher in 7th grade.
Oh, fun.
And like I hated 7th grade and I thought she was mean. And well, the woman that she co-taught with was a huge bitch. Like she almost dress coded me for rolling my Sophie shorts too many times. And mind you, I was
gotta
like
roll your
tiny.
Sophies.
I was probably like 80 pounds. Like I was so small and nothing ever fit me, you know? So I was just like, but anyways, it's kind of healing to like drink with your old teacher.
That is really
that
funny.
Probably really is, because I still have like my teachers that I didn't really like, even on Facebook. Like if they comment something to me, I'm like, you're such a bitch, why would you comment that? Like I still hold the resentment. So
yeah, you just realize that they are also human, you know?
Yeah.
I also kind of forget that they're like, I don't know how many of my teachers were like just out of school, but there was like a lot
how young they were.
You know what, 24, maybe 22 even to 30, and that's like not that old. Like that's like you haven't lived a lot of life, so you're only doing what
my
you know.
7th grade math teacher was 22 and she was all the boys had the hugest crush on her, and she was like the worst teacher ever. Like we didn't learn anything the entire year basically. But yeah, looking back, I'm like, she was 22. She
probably just wanted to be
what
friends
did
with
she
all the
know?
boys.
Like she didn't know anything. Like and to not like, that's also like not a diss on her. It's like you just haven't lived life.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
I feel like it'd be harder to teach older kids when you're young. Like if I was a young teacher, I'd want to teach like kindergarten through 3rd grade or something.
For sure.
But I think that I don't know if this is for sure, but like don't you kind of pick a subject / like grade level when you're like in school? Like you kind of go to school
you can
to
pick
teach like high
elementary
school,
education,
like middle school or elementary school. Like you don't really like, I think it'd be kind of hard to be like, okay, I'm a 2nd grade teacher and now I'm going to go be a 11th grade teacher for math. Like, we're doing a lot different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to go back. Brittany's eating snap peas in case anybody's not watching
like,
the YouTube.
It was right here.
I just wanted to explain, you know, if like you're just listening.
ASMR.
I'd be like, oh, what was that crunch? I'd love to know.
Some exciting news.
What?
I'm kind of a Star Wars fan.
Oh my God.
But like a very subset of Star Wars.
The show, the new show.
No, okay, so here it is. And don't ask me any other questions about Star Wars. I only know this like little bit of information. Andor leads into Rogue One. I don't even know where Rogue One falls into the movies. But like Andor basically is a 2-season TV show, and like the last episode is like a couple hours before the movie Rogue One. So it's kind of
Which is a previous movie that came out.
I think it came out 10 years ago. Just quoting Joe.
Oh wow, that's very interesting.
But I'm into it. So
did you watch the movie?
We're watching the movie right now. Yeah. It's like a 2-hour movie. So we watched it in parts, but kind of into it. Which is kind of surprising. But TBD if I'm like into more Star Wars stuff.
Was there a love story in the show as well?
Yes, there's a little bit of love story. There's drama, like lots of drama. There's action. It's like so many different aspects. So
that's where I don't like it. I don't like anything with action in it.
Nothing?
No, I want a chill, cozy. Or even if it's like mystery or something, I just hate like the on the edge of your seat, like I'm biting my nails. Like I don't like that feeling when I'm watching TV.
I don't know that I would say that it's like biting your nails type of action. I think it's kind of like there's drama or there's like tension built up around like For example.
But are people in danger? That's what I don't like, when I'm like, oh my God, something's going to happen. Like someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to die. There's going to be a fight. Like, I don't like that.
There is some death for sure. I don't know. I just feel like it's all connected. But also, I kind of like action. Like, I'm not into every single action movie, but there are certain types of action movies like Mission Impossible, like James Bond. Like, I like those type of movies. And so it's kind of in line with that sort of action. It's not like anything. Like, they have like a mission that they're going for. And like getting to the mission, there's like action and like guns and shooting and stuff like that. But it's not like what the entire show is about. Because I feel like there's some shows and movies that where it's like explosions and guns and violence, like the entire. And I'm like, okay, that's too much. Like, I feel like
that is crazy.
John Wick was like way too much violence for me. I was like, violence and action. I was like, no, this is not for me.
Yeah. I'd be willing to try it because I never thought I would like the Marvel movies, and I had such a Marvel obsession. But now it's weird because like if Cameron ever suggests watching a Marvel movie now, I'm like, no, like I don't feel like it at all. But at the time, I was like so into it.
Yeah, it's so weird how you like get in this vibe.
Yeah.
Like, I want to watch this type of thing.
Just hyper fixated.
I think there's some good Marvel shows that also kind of like lead into watching Marvel movies. I can't remember. We just watched one recently. I think it was like it was one of the black guys and the Winter Soldier, I think. And I can't remember the black guy's character. He's like
well, he turns into the new Captain America. You mean him?
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't see that new Captain America. But we did watch the show. Yes. Yeah.
But I would watch Andor first and see if you kind of are into that.
Okay. That makes me feel better actually, because I thought like I'd have to go back and do like the old Star Wars before diving into this new thing.
And I don't know if this is accurate, but I feel like they filmed all the Star Wars like all out of order.
Yeah, they did, because it's not like some people watch them in like the timeline order and some people watch them in like the order they came out. Same with Marvel. Like even on Disney Plus, Marvel has it sorted like where you can either watch it in the order it came out or like as if the actual timeline.
No, like with Marvel, I really don't understand. Like I have to get a breakdown from Joe every time we like step into like Marvel universe. And even like DC, it's the same thing where you're like, okay, are these connected? Is this like a different? Yeah. Because in DC, they have like multiple Batman worlds.
Yeah,
like,
I can't even do DC. Like,
and so you have to figure out like, oh, are we in this DC world? Are we in this DC world? Like what's happening? But I don't know.
I don't like that.
I never thought I would like Star Wars though. I was like, I'm never watching Star Wars. And this is just like
cut to your Joe's Halloween costume this year.
Oh my god.
That would be funny. He would love that.
Well, I think like all boys have that like fantasy of Princess Leia or whatever in like the gold bikini. That's in Friends too.
That was like their first obsession, first female crush.
Mm-hmm.
There's an episode of How I Met Your Mother too where Ted is like, this relationship won't work if she doesn't like Star Wars, and he like makes I think Robin watch it, and he just watches her watching it the whole time. And she's like not paying attention. He's like, you need to pay attention to this. Like,
that's so funny. I was so sad that How I Met Your Father got canceled.
I know.
It was so good.
I didn't even start that. I don't even know if I watched How I Met Your Mother.
That's good.
It's really good.
That's how I feel like whenever I make something for Joe, or if it's something I really like food wise, and I'm like, how is it? Like, do you like it? Like, he's like not even put it in his mouth. I'm like, what do you think?
Yeah.
I have to try it like a few bites.
You want like a full critique, and he's just like, it's good. Yeah, I like it.
No, but it's like really good, right?
Yeah, what about the flavors?
That's so funny.
Tell me more.
Dev, do you want to introduce the topic since this is what we've been waiting for?
Yes. I was going to say when we were talking about How I Met Your Mother, that is an example of an unrealistic friend group. And that's something that she talked about in this podcast. So there's this episode of World's First Podcast. They had a friendship expert on. Her name is Anna Goldfarb. She's a journalist. She like wrote a book about friendships and making and maintaining friends and stuff. And we were talking about it on the podcast a few weeks ago. I was saying that your friendship needs a why, but her phrasing is actually your friendship needs an about. And Maggie and Brittany were both like, what the fuck? That sounds weird. And I was like, you have to listen to this episode. Anyways, it's really good. There are so many good little tidbits about making friends and maintaining your friendships and stuff from the episode. Yeah. I've listened to that episode like 5 times probably.
Really? Have you listened to the other friendship excerpts? Because I think it's interesting that they've had like a psychologist. They've had somebody else. I can't remember what their profession was, but they've had like different types of people on that talk about friendship. So I think it's interesting to hear from like her journalist perspective versus like the psychologists and stuff.
Yeah, I felt like new information, like different friendship advice that we don't hear, I guess, necessarily from other people.
Yeah, and it felt like a psychological way of thinking about friends. And it kind of feels almost like too matter of fact when
that's
friendships
what to me
are very like
scientific.
Emotional. Yeah.
With Anna's
but it makes sense. Yeah.
So that's like, I had like, even after listening to it, I was still kind of like, I'm like resistant to the statement that a friendship has to have like an about side of things. But I was trying to like ask myself why, because I think it's
why you're resistant.
Yeah, like why I'm like, no, that's not it. But I think it's because I really value my friendships where there's like multiple components of it. And she does talk about the fact that like if your about is like yoga and then you suddenly stop doing yoga, like you have to find a new about. And I think for me, I put more value in my friendships where we have like 20 abouts or like 5 abouts.
But you have to get to that point when you're developing a friendship. The longer that you are friends, the more abouts that you have, or like they become a closer friend.
Like starting with us, it's like we started on brand deals.
But I almost connect with people that I can build multiple abouts like within a very short period of time. Like I think it's really hard for me to like be in, because it made me think about it. I'm like, why am I not like invested in some friendships and I'm invested in others? And I think it's because if I only have like one point to like be your friend with, like it just kind of tires out for me more quickly. And I think that
makes sense.
I need more abouts quickly and I need more connection points quickly so that there's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I feel like her way of thinking is very, like Maggie said, scientific, whereas like as women, especially with relationships, it's much more emotional and there's a lot more emotion in why we're friends and stuff. But I just thought it was a really interesting way of thinking about it. And the first time I listened to this episode, I was like, I don't like this. Like, this is weird. And then the more I think about it and I start placing like abouts with friendships or like new friendships, especially.
Yeah.
It started to make more and more sense to me.
Yeah. The other thing I thought about too with like her whole about thing is when, like, bringing it back to content creation, when content creators are like super, super niche down, like they talk about like romantic fantasy only. Like that's the entire thing that they talk about. But then like say they talk about something different and it doesn't relate to like, you know, me or something. I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to hear that. But I think it's like interesting when you have a creator that talks about multiple things that like you relate to. It's kind of like exciting to follow them. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's so interesting.
Or even like, for example, like Ken is way more like personality based. So it's like you like her as a whole person and like multiple parts of her and not just like her talking about her dogs, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I tend to follow more people that are like multifaceted or like based on their personality in content. So I feel like it's similar to my friendships.
Well, okay, so what she says is every friendship needs a clean and compelling about. Oh, wait, that's supposed to say clear. Every friendship needs a clear and compelling about. But that is like what is making you get together almost. That doesn't mean that that's all you're going to be talking about, but it's the motivator for why you're hanging out or talking or texting every day or whatever. And the abouts can change.
I think the compelling part was interesting too, because it's like if I'm like on and on about Star Wars and you two don't give a fuck about Star Wars, there's nothing for us to talk about. So it's like both people have to care about the subject matter or like whatever you're talking about. And that's what I thought was interesting.
But then I also think there's the friendships like where we just care about you and like just hearing an update on your life. Like, yeah, maybe I don't want to hear you talk about Star Wars for hours and hours, and you're going to go to somebody else that like can be as excited with you about it. But like, I still care about your like life updates, even if it doesn't like extremely relate to me 100%.
Yeah. But I think it's like, say for instance, I started like diving into everything Star Wars. Like I wouldn't be able to text you guys like all like every single day, and there wouldn't be like multiple connection points because you guys just don't care about it. But it's like, you know, finding people that care about it, then I would talk to them all the time. So I think that was like an interesting explanation, because there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, I feel bad that I haven't talked to this person in forever, but I'm like, what? There's nothing like I could just share about my life, but there's not like little tidbits for me to talk to all the time.
Yeah, and the about thing kind of pertains to relationships that you want to talk to them every single day or, you know, multiple times a week. So if it's just a friendship where you're updating each other on each other's lives, like, I mean, obviously if there's shit happening and you're like, you know, I text you guys sometimes of like, oh my God, this happened today, I'm annoyed. But most friendships aren't going to keep going that way just with life updates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I really liked what Erin was saying about low maintenance friendships too.
Oh my God, yeah, I wrote that down somewhere too.
That kind of like shook me. I was like, oh fuck.
Because I was like, oh my God, like this is so interesting. Because she basically was saying like being low maintenance and being like, oh, like you don't have to call me, you don't have to text me, you don't have to show up for my birthday, you don't have to show up. It's like they don't know how to show up for you. Like they don't know what you need. And so then they just don't. And I feel like there's one friendship that I have in particular where like I don't express what I need from her. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if I like can start doing that, it would make us closer.
Yeah.
What do you feel though like you need? Like I guess that's what I would be hard for me is like explaining to the other person what you even need, because I don't really know what I would need.
Well, just like asking someone to hang out with you, or actually wanting them to be a part of your life, kind of, instead of being like, because I'm the low maintenance friend because I don't want to be a burden to anyone. I'm like, no, it's fine. Oh, you can't hang out? That's fine. Totally. Like, I'm not going to like.
But I think for me, like one example is like checking in on me on like, how's my business doing? Like, how am I doing? Like, how's the renovation doing? Like, people that are proactively texting me and like checking in and updating and like getting updates and stuff, like that means a lot to me as a friend. Like you don't have to be calling me every week or texting me every week, but you're like, hey, how are things? And like remembering things versus like, I fucking hate when my mom does this. She's like, so what's new? And I'm like, nothing. I don't know. Like ask me a more specific question like about my life. And I would love to have a conversation about that. Like and that means a lot more to me when someone's like, hey, like you were interested in gardening. Like, have you done anything since then? You know?
Yeah, that's super, super true.
But I think the way to go about that could just be like, hey, it means a lot to me when you check in on like little things about my life, or you like celebrate wins that I have.
And I feel like that can be hard. Like sometimes I feel like I've been struggling with that the last few weeks of like if I'm really busy. And then also my friends are in seasons of life where they're super busy and there's a lot of things going on, like doctor's appointments, or they're moving and there's like a specific move-in date, or things that I need to kind of remember of like, oh, what day is she moving into this house? Or like what day is he with this doctor's appointment or whatever. And then I forget and then I feel bad. Like one of my friends texted and I was like, oh my God, wait, you already moved into the house? Like I thought it wasn't for like 2 more weeks. And she was like, yeah, but like it's no big deal that you didn't specifically know exactly that. Like you still knew I was moving and we're checking in. But I felt bad that like I feel like I need to add that to my calendar.
That's literally what I was gonna say. I was like, I want to have like a friend calendar, because like it jarred my memory. Like one of my friends is like going to see her grandma this week, and there was like some things that was happening around the trip. And I like, just because she posted something about like New York, I was like, oh, like let me check in and see like how things are going for her, like with that whole situation. But like if I didn't, if she didn't post that, like I would not have remembered that she was going. So I'm like, okay, maybe I need to have like a little calendar for like my friends' updates and stuff.
Yeah.
But also I think we shouldn't feel bad if we have to ask again. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't ask her again because she already told me, and she's going to think, like, obviously it's not possible to always remember exactly when you're moving or whatever.
I get so embarrassed though. Like I'm like, I feel like I should know that information, or they already told me that. Like I don't want to ask again, but you're totally right.
Yeah. But I think the fact that you're like, she's moving and you like know to ask about moving is meaningful enough, like versus if you just don't even bring up moving whatsoever, then she's like, wow, like you really don't care.
But the posting is a good point, because I also feel like, because I post obviously a lot of my life, my friends, it's easier for them to check in on certain things because they're like, oh, I saw you posted this last night that you were doing this, like tell me about it or whatever. Where if my friends aren't posting, then like I more so have to be proactive about like asking them what's going on, if they're not sharing it every day.
I feel like we've talked about this before, but I love the aspect of like your friendship tiers and having like,
I love
bathtub is just like 1 or 2 people in your bathtub with you, like they're the closest people to you, and then your jacuzzi, so then you've got like 3 or 4 friends in that group. The pool, which is like the people you would invite to your birthday parties and stuff, and the water park is like the people that would be at weddings and funerals.
I love that. Like I feel like that's such a great description.
And a lot of people ask, like, how many friends should I have? And it's like, well, kind of think about it in these tiers. Although I don't have a pool's worth of friends, I don't think. So I don't know.
But I was thinking of that. Like that also comes from having a partner and stuff too. And like, or like our wedding, like our parents having their friends and whatnot, like where it's very extended people that still are meaningful in your life, but not in the like same exact way. Or like I was thinking about like Cameron's best friends, Aaron and Josh, like they're also my best friends, but not in the sense where I'm texting them like, this is what I did today. Like that would be weird. Yeah. But I could call them in an emergency and like I know that they would be there in a second. So like there's, I don't know, it's like it's more extended, I feel like, when you have a partner, kind of, or even with your parents.
Yeah. And it's kind of a reminder that like there are friends that maybe you haven't talked to in 2 years. That doesn't mean that you're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
But you can still get together with them. You can still invite them to your wedding or your birthday party or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like also with the pool and water park, I feel like I have a lot of these type of friends where it's like I'm friends with their friends. Like I might not necessarily like invite them to hang out one-on-one, but like I know a lot about their lives whenever we get together. Like if they're, we're all going to the same location or something, like I know a lot about what's going on in their life too. So I feel like those are interesting friendships too.
Yeah.
I also like the example of friendships are kind of like the like a wheel spoke where you're at the center and you are like connecting with each spoke, like each friend individually, and that creates like a lot more effort for you as like a singular person versus like if before, or like if you are part of friendships where it's like a community, like a church community, or like she gave like like previous time where you kind of were like just embedded in your like little neighborhood almost. So there was like stuff that would happen like in your neighborhood and you would like get
someone
together.
else is organizing the
and there's like easy connection points for like multiple things versus now it's like even if you do have groups of friends where there's like multiple things, like you have like multiple groups of friends or multiple people, I feel like, in order to connect with. And so it makes sense that there's going to be a lot more effort required in order to get there versus like if you are like more community based.
Yeah, like my pickleball league. I organized and we all just showed up when we were told. And now I haven't hung out with those girls yet because we can't, it's so hard to organize with 3 people being available and like where to meet because we don't even live in the same area. So even though we still have a clear and compelling about, it's hard to
Have you guys
organize.
tried to schedule it like at the same time that pickleball would have been, or like in the same location-ish?
Yeah, it's been a couple of Saturdays that we were supposed to get together because the place that we played at previously has like free open court playing, but like one girl was out of town and then I was out of town, and so it's just
and then it's like, do you get together with just the two that are in town or wait for everyone to be there? Like that's
travel schedules are tough,
especially in the summer.
Well, I feel like
and so we're trying to figure out how to get together during the week.
And trying to get to do anything during the week, I'm like, no, this is not part of my routine.
I know. But then when we did trivia during the week, like that was so fun, and it felt like, like why do we waste so much of our lives because it's not the weekend at the same time? Like that's so crazy. But I definitely have that mindset a lot of the time, so it's hard. What are your guys' thoughts on, like I was thinking throughout this episode, of family and how family can come into it, like my friendship with my siblings? Is that still like they need to be included in those amount of number of people, you know?
I think she said like, well, your husband is included in the bathtub. So like for me, like my bathtub would be my sister's and my mom.
That's a big bathtub.
I do think about that because I like when I've gone through and kind of done like lists and stuff, I'm like, well, I also like want to call my sisters and like check in on them just as much as I do with my friends.
I feel like I kind of like sacrifice, like if I'm having a week where I'm really talking to my friends more than I'm like talking less to my siblings or vice versa.
I definitely go in waves with like everything though. I truly like there's times where I'm like so good about calling my friends or just like checking in, and times where it's like you don't even know if I'm like alive because I'm just like radio silent.
I think that has a lot to do with the current about, and if it's like really present at the moment. Like, I mean, my friend Ashlyn, we talk about Lady Gaga and stuff. So it's like when Gaga's doing something, she has a new album, she has a new tour, like we're talking a lot about it. And then when she's not, it's just, you know, random like weekly check-ins or like whatever, like, hey, how you doing? You know, it's not, there's not as much to talk about at the moment.
I don't know. My friend Ashley that just had a baby, she texted me last week because she was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I feel like I haven't been like keeping up with you as much or asking about you. And I was like, oh my God, no, I feel like I was doing that to you. Like, I felt the same way. Like, we both just have been not texting 24/7. Like, that's just the difference, is maybe we texted like once a day versus texting the entire day long. But I feel like even just communicating those simple things, like, oh, that made me feel better that she was also thinking it, and then that I could communicate that as well, and then it's like immediately good now.
Wasn't there in the episode they said something about that, like sometime I can't remember, just texting a friend and saying like,
oh, and she texted her friend to check in, and then the friend FaceTimed right away or something.
I can't remember. My brain isn't working right now.
But they were saying that a lot of people in friendships do just want to be like reached out to.
Yes, that was it.
So just taking the time to do that. And I have a few, my friend Morgan is really, really good at that. Like, even if we don't text for like a few weeks, she'll text me and be like, hi, I hope you have such a great day today. Like, love you so much. And I'll be like, oh, thank you so much. Love you too.
Oh, another good point was that we're asking the wrong questions, because all the time we're asking like, why aren't they reaching out to me, or why don't I have friends, or you know, why isn't this person texting me? And instead you should be asking, why would someone want to be my friend? Like, what value can I bring to them right now so that they want to engage with me, you know? Which is something you also have more control over. You don't have control over why they're not texting you.
That's what that like reframe of like, I know that I have like way more control to be like a better friend kind of made me feel a lot more empowered to be like, okay, I can do all of these things instead of asking like why we're not closer, or like why I don't have more things to do with people like when I want to, kind of thing. I also think it's like Erin made she was talking about like how her therapist was like, what do you want your partner to do more of? And this was like in a couples therapy session she was talking about, and she like wrote all this stuff down, and the therapist was like, okay, do you do any of that stuff? And she was like, hold on, like no, this is all the stuff he's supposed to do, I'm not supposed to do this. And I feel like it's such a good exercise to even do with like friendships of like, okay, what do you want your friends to do? Like, do you want them to be texting you every day? Or like you want like a monthly check-in phone call? Like, are you doing that? Like, and flipping it on yourself almost.
Yeah, I love that point. That's so true.
But it is
like
nice
you
I feel
could
like it's
start
a lot more. It feels better.
Yeah, but like let's say you wish your friend would check in on you once a week or whatever, or ask you about your business more often or whatever. And so you start doing that to your friend because you want your friend to do the same thing to you. And so you're putting in this effort. But then what if you have a friend that's just not reciprocating? Like, that's when I think people get frustrated and say, okay, fuck this then. Never mind. I'm going to stop trying.
I think that's kind of fair after a certain amount of time. If you communicate that's
I think you have to
you feel
tell,
it
depending
hasn't
on
been
like
reciprocated.
the level of your friendship, you kind of have to tell them that. Because I think sometimes like if you've gone on for like years not really talking as much about yourself or like sharing that stuff, like your friend's gonna get used to that. Like they're not gonna like be like, oh, what's going on with you? You know what I mean? Like they're gonna be more, it's gonna be a lot different. So I feel like if you can be like, hey, it means a lot when you like ask about X, Y, and Z things and give them the opportunity to like work on that. But then if they still don't do it, obviously be like, okay, girl, you gotta go.
I think it's hard with friends though, because you want them to want to talk to you, you know? You don't want to like force them or feel like you're forcing them.
Yeah. I think I go back to this all the time. Like this is one of the most profound things Maggie's ever taught me. Like setting expectations of like what you want from people is so powerful. Because like I was having some sort of like anxiety. I've had anxiety like all week. It's just been like too much. And yesterday it was like really, really high. And I needed Joe to just act a certain way, but like I didn't tell him what I needed. And then he's like doing the opposite. I was like, why don't you just know? Like, why can't you just figure it out? And I'm like, then I was like reflecting on it today and I was like, that's not fair at all. Because like, how is this poor man supposed to know what I needed, wanted? Like, it's, you know, to some degree, maybe it's, you know, especially in that anxiety, like heightened anxiety state, it's nice if he just like could figure it out. But like, it's not reasonable. So we read a little list down.
It's hard to explain yourself too when you're so like if you're very anxious, it's hard to communicate that in the moment. For me, at least, I like shut down fully if I'm super anxious.
Me too. But it is helpful. And then like after I was like done, we like wrote a little list down for him to like.
Oh, nice.
If I'm in that state again, it's like here's like a reference point for you to like have all these things to like check in on me with instead of
I love that. I love
to assume what he's supposed
I
to
love
do.
how we're also talked about of like really meeting your friend like where they are and treating that friendship like individually based on themselves, their socioeconomic status, their the race, like everything like that, and giving them scenarios in which they'll say yes. Like for example, like if I had a friend who's struggling with money, I'm not gonna be like, do you want to go on this yacht ride with me this weekend? Like that's crazy. But you could be like, hey, do you want to go get a Taco Bell taco pack and go watch this movie this weekend? And then they'll be more likely to say yes. And I think that in my friendships we've really like established that with each of my friends. Like I have some friends where we give birthday presents every year, and some friends where like we would absolutely never give a birthday present, or like somewhere you post on your stories for their birthday, or some like just different like just the ways that your friendship are is different because it's for that specific person.
Yeah, I love that. All of this though is like work. It's putting in effort, and I think the problem with our individualist society that we're living in right now is just like nobody wants to put in the effort.
Yeah, but I feel like it doesn't feel like work when you're getting it back, because then it just feels like a community that's like you help people and they help you. Like it shouldn't necessarily feel like work, I don't think. I don't feel like my friendships feel like work.
Yeah, and maybe that's
I get what you mean of like something that you have to do, like, and keep up.
Well, like
with.
for me as an introvert who I don't want to hang out with people every day.
Yeah.
So I let a lot of time go by where I'm like, oh, I need to text someone. I need to tell someone this. I need to ask someone to hang out. And then I just don't. I guess for me, it is, if I wanted to have a lot of really strong friendships right now, I would need to be putting in the work for it.
Mm-hmm. And to be honest, though, me moving away has really helped that. Like, I really used to struggle with that when I lived where all of my friends lived because I didn't want to hang out all the time. And I'd struggle balancing or being like, oh, I was with this friend too much and now I didn't hang out with this one. And I wanted to just be home, or then struggling balancing being with my family versus friends and whatever. And being able to be in a different state away from it all, like, I think has helped that for me so much because I can still be home most of the time, like, and not actually have to put in that much effort.
I understand though, like what you're saying about work and effort, because I think that maybe it's a different type of work, but I think a lot since a lot of my friendships are a little bit longer distance or they're newer, so they like require more, like, I think it's, for me, it's like planning and like carving out space and time amongst everything else that I have going on. Because oftentimes there's like just seasons of my life where things are so busy, but I really want to continue to like uphold those friendships and maintain that closeness with my friends. And during those times, it's definitely a lot more work. It's not so like effortless. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to pick up the phone and call them. Like, it's a lot more of like, I am getting a FaceTime call from somebody and I just like had a really long day and I'm drained and I don't want to pick up the phone. And so it's like, okay, I have to remember to call that person back, or like I have to make some time during this busy week to do that. And it's just kind of like, in those times, it definitely feels like more work, even though it's like rewarding, you know? So I think it's like effort and work, but it's not like, oh my God, I have to do like a paper, like a papers do. It's like just effort and work to build something that's meaningful to me.
And I think that is kind of the difference of new friendships though versus like older ones, because I guess I do feel like that more with making new friends, or if it's like if you've only hung out with somebody a few times and then they're wanting to hang out, it's like, okay, well, I kind of would rather be home or would rather go on a date or would rather do this, but you kind of have to force yourself and then you end up having fun with it. Now I feel like with a lot of my friendships I'm like excited for these things or whatnot, but like of that FaceTime example, like Victoria called me last week, I see the FaceTime and I'm like, no, I don't feel like talking right now.
Yeah.
And I texted her and I said, sorry, I'm having a depression day. Like, I'll call you tomorrow or in the next few days. And then like she texted me the next day and was like, are you feeling better? Blah, blah, blah. And I feel like in a lot of my older friendships, I can just like outright say that and don't feel the like feeling, because I used to feel so horrible. Like I'd stare at the phone ringing and be like, oh my God, I'm the worst friend ever. Like I do not want to answer this right now whatsoever.
Yeah. I've also gotten the habit of being like, hey, I'm in the middle of something, or like I can't really talk right now, but like, is this urgent? Like, do you need to talk? And then if they're like, yeah, I do, kind of, then I'm like, okay, I'll stop what I'm doing and pick up the phone, because I do want to be that friend where you can like depend on me. And I realized that like me ignoring calls or like not picking up just kind of trains them like you're not available ever, and that's not really the type of person that I want to be.
Yeah, like when people, if I ever called somebody, that's like a big thing for me. And if
I'd be like,
answer,
what's happening?
or like didn't have time, then I would feel so rejected, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I really don't call anybody. Like, I'm really bad at that as a friend. Like, I'm not the one who's FaceTiming. I'm not the one who's calling anybody, my family, my friends at all. Like, they're the ones calling me for sure. Yeah. Like, I know that that's something I have to work on.
I love calling. Yeah. I love calling.
But I love people
who like, can you guys pick up?
But I love that. Like, we need you to be calling.
Yeah, I wish I had a relationship where like I had a friend that called me on her drive home from work, or like just, you know, that consistent friend that you just catch up or whatever. But yeah, I'm like also never really in the mood to just chat on the phone, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I want a lot of what I don't actually want, you know? And I think a lot of it is because of all the representation in TV shows that is so unrealistic. Like we all have so much more going on in our lives. Whereas like in Friends, the show was literally just about their friend group. It wasn't about, I mean, it did include other aspects of their life, but also they live right across the street from the hall from each other. Like location makes
and
getting together so much easier.
In the bar, like.
Yeah, and they just always like the friend just comes over after work. Like they don't have any other shit to be doing. And also like they don't have families for Thanksgiving or Christmas. They spend it together.
I was thinking
like
that
in their
too.
apartment and stuff. Like,
well, that's like
it's not realistic.
I wrote down like because I think that she was talking a lot about like insecurities coming into your mind and like creeping in and starting to make you think things that like aren't true. And whether it's insecurities based on like comparison or insecurities based on just like things in your own head. I think you really have to take a step back, like kind of like you're talking about with your friend Ashley. Like the reason you guys haven't been talking because she just had a baby. Like there's a lot more context to like what's happening. And I think that's important versus being like, oh, like we, you know, they hate me or like they don't give a fuck about me because they haven't like asked about me in a week. Like, no, like what else is going on? That's like most of the time that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, 100%. I thought it was interesting that they said 300 million people in the world have said they don't have one singular friend. Yeah. That made me so sad.
And that's like, obviously we see all these amazing friendships on TV or even on social media and stuff. But if you even have one friend, like you are lucky. Like you should feel grateful for that instead of wishing that you had what you don't, you know?
Yeah, like honestly listening to this episode made me feel extremely lucky. Like I feel like my friendships are like one of the best parts about my life that I'm so thankful for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also think too, like something I've been thinking about lately is the people that like I can call, like developing friendships where I can call them and like talk to them about anything, whether it's like I'm having an anxiety attack, like do I have people that I can like call and talk to about that? Or like if I'm having like a really insecure moment in business, or like what are the topics that I feel comfortable telling people, and like how like in a lot of my current friendships, like how can I like be more vulnerable, or how can I like share more of those things to get there? Because I think sometimes what can make me feel really alone is like when I don't have the opportunity to call like a couple different people in those scenarios. And so I think it's a matter of like deepening some of those friendships where like you can really call them about anything and you know that they're going to be like sympathetic or like understanding towards the situation.
Yeah, and sometimes that does require you sharing more yourself and being vulnerable for them to be able to do it after. Yeah, that's very true. I do notice like if I'm struggling with something, then I think about like, oh, which one of my friends has struggled with something similar, and then go to that person for it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know that if they didn't share with me.
True. I am so afraid to hang out with people one-on-one.
Same.
Like, and that's how you get more comfortable with people. Like, that's why I'm so close with Ashlyn, because we used to have to just hang out, us two, whatever. But like, I need to, like with my group of 3 friends from pickleball, if one of them can't, then I'm like, oh, I can't either. Like, I don't want to go just us two. But if I did, we'd probably bond and get more comfortable and it'd be so much better. But like on our last day of the pickleball league, my friend Nicole couldn't come because she got a migraine. So it was just me and Esme.
She has migraines too?
Yeah. But I was like, we were planning to go to dinner together, but then Nicole bailed. So I was like, should I just bail too? Because I'm scared. Like, I don't want to just go to dinner with just one friend. I'm afraid, like, to keep the conversation going and everything. And I was like, should we just go? Like, I forced myself to be like, let's just go, us two. And literally, it was cold. We were sitting outside, but I was like literally shaking the whole time. Like, mostly because I was nervous to be just with her.
Yeah.
But it was great. There were no awkward silences. She's just finishing Accutane, so we like got to talk about that. Like, you just learn how much in common you have with people. And yeah, it's just like a reminder. I need to do that more. I need to say yes if just one of them invites me to do something, just us two. Like,
and I felt that way like with my friend Bryn and Maddie. Those are like my 2 best girlfriends that live here. Maddie is usually busier. She has more friends here and travels more frequently, so she'll be busy. And the times where me and Bryn have hung out still, it does feel like we've gotten so much closer. And then when we're in group settings, it's like, oh, but we still have like our little, just the two of us too.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to do. I freaking hate one-on-one things.
I know. It's so hard.
What is
It's so scary.
Just like the silences, or
yeah,
I
just having to keep the conversation going.
But like with you, it's not because you would talk. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what do you mean?
Your brain
because
is not
you're the
like
extrovert.
stuttering the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't have to be worried like when it's just me and you alone, because like I know, well, one, I know you know me. But like I know that you'll talk. Or with Devin and me alone, I feel fine because yeah, she knows me. It is really just letting people in on like your feelings.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and maybe that like just crosses out the fear to be like, I am so awkward one-on-one, and
yeah, or
I'm
like how Jewel said, like
awkward silences.
Yeah, like just say you're nervous starting out. Like I'm actually kind of nervous to do this.
That's Erin said the same thing too. I forgot what episode it was in, or like I think it was maybe even her talking about like going to the Oscars or like some award show or something. And she's like, I'm awkward like at these things or something like that. And she's like, it breaks the ice every single time, and like then people laugh, and then it like just opens up the conversation more.
Yeah. And it also gives the like, I'm aware of this.
Yeah.
So we're both in on it together, and you're not just thinking it about me, because I'm always so afraid of like what people are thinking about me.
Yeah.
Which is so dumb, but like that's probably my biggest fear.
I really,
when you think about that, like what do you think, what would be your biggest fear that they'd be thinking about? You know, like is it like your insecurities about yourself?
Yeah, like, oh, she's quiet, she's awkward. I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, like
this
the
is
negative
awkward.
things
I'm not
people have
having
told you.
fun. I wish I didn't. Yeah. I don't know.
I just think that a big part, like, because maybe for me, it's almost the opposite of just like, I try and turn down my brain a little bit more. So I'm just like not thinking about so much. And I guess for me,
but yeah, I don't have that.
No, but for me, it's like turning off my brain and just like listening better, like in conversations and stuff. Because like truly, I think it's both sides of it. Like if you're caring more about the other person and like what they're saying and like focusing on that, then you don't have as much time. Like, and I know this is not a rational thing. So I know I'm not speaking to something that like you have a lot of control over, but I think it's like helpful to really focus on like other people and like how can you show up and be there for other people versus like thinking about your own things like going through your head, like, oh, what should I say? Like, what should I not say? Like, how should I stand? Like, should I, you know, do this? Should I do that? And it's like, okay, how can you put like all of your focus and like energy on the other person? And I think that comes from, that's like something I practice as well as like other people practice too in a different way. Where it's like, for me, I'm like, shut the fuck up and listen. And you're probably like, stop.
Well, that's really helpful, though, because we're trying to, like, I'll be asking way more questions and talking way more, trying to make sure that there's no silence or anything where you're right. Probably, like, just, like, taking a beat and listening probably would help it feel less uncomfortable.
Yeah. Because I almost think, like, you just, like, if I'm actually listening to what you're saying, then I can come up with a way more thoughtful question. Versus like, oh, like, let me ask them about their dog. And you just told me about like how you're really passionate about fostering or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. So then like, why would I ask about your dog? You know?
Yeah.
So you like ask more meaningful questions and you like talk about more meaningful things.
Yeah, that's super true.
Yeah.
Should we answer any questions?
Yeah, we got so many questions. I don't even know.
Thanks, Devs fans.
Fans. Followers. There are some really good there are so many questions, and I want to answer everybody. Like, I feel bad because like people took the time.
Why don't we just do a Q&A episode next week, though, too?
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should. Did you guys look at any and be like, I really want to answer this? Or
no, I was trying to make it a surprise. I did not look at any of them.
Oh. I did not skim them, but I could skim quickly.
Well, maybe they'll be quick to answer. Like maybe we can get a few in because we kind of have talked about a lot of this, but here's the first one. I can make acquaintances but struggle to get to a deeper level where I consider them an actual inner circle friend beyond just the surface stuff. Also, people take it too fast and want to text all the time and hang out all the time, but I like more space than that, especially in the beginning, and can get overwhelmed by the sudden attention and end up slowly fading away from the friendship. How can I make true friends while respecting my need for space?
I feel this makes a lot of sense because it's almost about the like, why the fuck do I care about you and why are you texting me so much? Because I don't like text a lot of people, so I really feel this question. That part I don't know how to. I feel like your like slow responses are like a good signal sometimes, hopefully, to people.
Yeah, I feel like letting these. I mean, first of all, getting into a friendship where all of a sudden they're texting you a lot and stuff, that is so awesome. Like, that's exciting. Like, that's, you know, they like you. They want to be your friend. Mm-hmm. But also, like, hanging out and letting them know what your personality is, like that you're an introvert and you like space and stuff. That's just who you are. Like, that's how I, honestly, all the people I make new friends with, I'm like, this is how I am. And so don't be offended if I take longer to respond or if I can't hang out all the time or whatever. Like, even my pickleball friend called me and I didn't answer, and then she texted me and was like, oh, sorry, I just remembered you're an introvert and probably don't like to answer calls.
That's funny.
Like, just putting the expectation, letting them know.
Yeah. I also think it's fine too to be like, I'm not really a texter, or like I am really slow at text, like just right off the bat. Like if they shoot off like 10 texts or something, you can be like, hey, just FYI, like don't be offended, I just don't really text that much. And then they're not like weirded out that you're like a shitty texter or like don't like to text that much.
Yeah. Do you think though, because the first part of this was that they struggled to get the acquaintances on a deeper level, like could that be because of the lack of not wanting things to progress quickly?
I think so, because that's what I struggle with is like getting vulnerable and deeper and like actually hanging out with people, because I'm like nervous. Like I was saying, I was so afraid to just hang out one-on-one with someone. Yeah. So it's kind of more of a fear that's holding me back, but it's keeping me from having these deeper friendships. And that's my fault.
Yeah, because I think that there's like, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're like, I don't want to be that, like, I don't want to ruin my good like boundaries or like my routine of doing things alone or like having my own space. And so it's like, instead of allowing like making space for more people, it's like just keeping people away. So maybe it's like defining the space that you want to give people and allowing them in for that space. Because it could just be like say you're comfortable with hanging out with somebody once a week, then like allow for that space, allow for you to be with those people once a week, but don't like think that you have to be hanging out with them every single day. And then maybe at that point, like you're saying, Devin, like share that, you know, once a week is really good for you. Like that feels really good in terms of like continuing a friendship, so that they know.
And I think the biggest key to deepening a friendship is that consistency piece. So like being like, we're going to go on a walk every Monday morning, and do it every Monday morning, like do it consistently. And then, you know, after 6 months, you're going to be so close with this person. That is how a deep friendship develops.
I think it's also like probably depends on the person's like definition of deep. Like, what does that even necessarily mean? Like, are you trauma
like
bonding immediately? But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you're not kind of connecting, then I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel like it is a right off the bat situation where if you feel that there's a connection or not, and then maybe that can't be deepened. Like, maybe it's just the wrong person and wrong friendship where you're not able to get deep.
Yeah.
I definitely do not think you can like determine a friendship and the deepness of a friendship based on like a couple hangouts. Because there's a lot of people that like will tell you their deepest, darkest secrets on the first time you meet them, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be close friends. Like,
that might be like, okay, I cannot be friends with this person.
Yeah. Like, I think about like our friendship, like it's like literally like we have set weekly hangouts for the past 3 years or whatever, and it's like been slowly and also fast, but like slowly we learn more about each other. Like still 3 years in, 4 years in, Brittany will still say something and we're like, what the fuck? Like, we had no idea of that about you. But like it's allowed it to deepen our friendship, and like going to your parents' house for dinner, like all of those things make you feel closer. And I feel like knowing each other's family and stuff helps a lot as well.
Yeah. Totally.
I do think it's okay to like have that process be a bit slower, because I've definitely like, I would say for most of my friendships, like I don't just let people, like I'll be open and I'll be friendly with people, and like I will make people feel connected to me, but I oftentimes am a little more reserved in the way I let people get close, like really close to me. And like I think that's okay. Like I don't think it has to be like, oh my God, we're gonna like be the bestest friends like after a couple months. Like, and it's okay to like let those friendships deepen over time.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's so true, because like, I mean, we met Maggie's parent. We went to Maggie's wedding, and then you guys came to dinner at my house. And then, you know, just a couple weeks ago, Brittany sent us pictures of her.
So true.
It's like such a mystery. Like, I don't know.
That is funny.
Okay, this is a good question. What is your go-to activity?
I forgot we were answering a question.
Yeah, when catching up with a friend. I always want to reach out and plan something with a friend, but always default to lunch. Are there any activities that lend themselves to starting conversations, but also allow you to catch up on life? I'm just not a creative girl that wants to hang out with her friends. Thank you, and I love you, girls.
I love looking up like local things that are happening. Like every week I'm looking up like what's happening in our city this week, like free events or like fun little local things. Love doing that. And then also just like, I don't know, like if I see a cute TikTok of something I want to do, then I text my friends and I'm like, hey, would you guys ever want to do this? Or like yesterday we had a picnic because my friend Bryn wanted to have a picnic. She suggested that to everyone. I love a picnic.
Picnics are so great. And you should get coloring stuff like markers.
Yeah, we had
coloring books or paints.
The little catch things with like the sticky paddle where the ball sticks to the paddle.
Yeah,
we were doing that, and we went to the zoo, and it was super fun. But she at this picnic, she was like, "Guys, I really want to go clamming." And I'm like, "Clamming the fuck? Like, who wants to go clamming?" But like, I've never thought about clamming in my life, but like now I'm down for her because she wants to go clamming, and she's the same way about things that I want to do or things that sound fun. So I don't know. I feel like just suggesting any activity.
Yeah, and like if you're creative, go do like as you wish painting, pottery.
I love
or
any
like
arts and crafts.
Yeah, you can talk and just like also be actively engaged in something.
I also love a walk. I feel like it's so simple. Yeah. I love a little walk and talk.
Yeah, maybe like a coffee walk.
I also think it's great if you have a dog, like just bringing your dogs. Yeah. Because like, I mean, unless you have a crazy dog and they don't like other dogs. But for the
I've
most
straight
part,
up never gone on a walk with a friend. Like,
really?
Ever.
Love a friend walk.
That's so cool.
We used to do that during COVID, like just with my roommate, like Lexi and Ashlyn, and that was so fun.
That is fun.
Yeah. Okay. How do I know when it's time to stop being friends with someone? I've grown apart from my high school friends and we have nothing in common anymore, and we're in different life stages. I still love them and they still feel like my family, but hanging out is awkward when all we have to talk about is the past. That's really rough. That's tough.
This is very hard.
A friendship like that where I was like, why are we always talking about the past? Like, I don't want to, like, every time we get together, it's always the same stories, blah, blah, blah. I don't want this. And then, like, something switched in my brain where I was like, there's so much more in both of our lives, like, all of our lives. Like, I don't even know what's happening right now. And so it was, like, kind of just starting to ask more questions about, like, the here and now, or, like, future things about, like, what are you excited about in the future? Like, what do you want for, like, the next year? Like, what – and not so much in those, like, type of questions, but it's just, like, oh, like, what are you guys doing? You know, what are you doing this summer? Like, do you have any travel plans? Like, where do you want to go in the world? Like, you know, just asking more questions about like like
Seeing what
ideas
new
and
things you
things
could relate
versus
on.
people. Like obviously you're always gonna connect back on some of those old stories, and it's so much fun to reminisce and like have those things, and you will just die laughing like recounting stories and stuff. But like also you can steer the conversation and like start talking about other things and like future things, because it's like kind of like the episode, it's just finding new abouts and new like common interests that you guys have, because I guarantee there's like more things that you guys are interested in together.
Yeah, it's you get to know them again, you know, which is exciting. But also, if you really have nothing in common, and history is not enough to keep you in a relationship where you're hanging out all the time and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay to like drift apart from old friends. That doesn't mean that you're not friends anymore. That means maybe you get lunch once a year just to catch up, and you would still invite them to your wedding or whatever, but you don't have to feel like you need to be hanging out all the time.
Yeah. I have these two best friends like from kindergarten through high school. They were like my best friends. The three of us were trios, spent summers at each other's houses, like everything. And in high school-ish, I felt like we just started to not relate anymore. Like we were having different lives and experiencing different things. And I really pulled away, and like they were so sad and upset at the time. And I felt like the biggest bitch ever. Like I felt like I was like abandoning my best friends for like new friends. But now it's like it's the same thing, kind of like we did just grow apart, and they're just very different than me, and we can still talk every few years or still be like, oh my god, like I hope you're doing well and I love you, blah blah blah, and be able to be like, oh my god, remember when this happened in second grade, and like talk about that, but at the same time know that now there's really no connection anymore. And like my mom will still talk to them, and my mom will go hang out with them and whatnot, because my mom was like a second mom to them, but I just don't have that now. And like that's okay, but it took me years and years to like tell myself like that is okay to just not be friends with somebody.
Yeah, so I think the answer is try to get to know them and see if there's something that you can connect that's not the past, or if not, just just let it be how it is, let it fizzle out.
I think one that I want to read is a really relevant one that I think I struggled with a lot in the past and still do. But when a friend is going through a rough time, how often should I check in with them if they're not responding? I don't want to be annoying or make her feel bad for not responding. And I know if she felt up to it, she would text me, but I also still want to let her know I'm thinking of her and offer help if she needs it. Is once a week okay? Once every few weeks? I feel like the biggest thing in this is like, one, continue to check in, because I think that I've gone through periods of time where like things have happened in my friends' lives, and I'm like one of those guilty people where it's like when it's relevant, everyone's checking in, I'm checking in, and then it like kind of tapers off. And like I don't want to be like that type of person, because I know like, especially if it's a death of a parent, or it's like, you know, something really devastating just like happened, like you want to keep checking in and like opening up space for that person to share whatever they need to, whether it's now, whether it's in a year from now. There's like so many things that like might happen, like might come up for them in a year that they need to like get off their chest or like talk about. So I don't think it's like, I think once a week is honestly great, but don't be afraid to also like just open the line of like, hey, I'm here for whatever you need. And I think sometimes like sharing like a list, like don't be afraid to tell me like how I can show up for you. I'm trying to, you know, I'm texting you right now, but if that's not the best way to show up for you, like if you want me to come over and just sit in silence, like we can do that. Just like let me know what you need from me, or like how I can best support you and show up for you in this time. And it's okay that it changes over time too.
Yeah. And sometimes they just want someone to vent to, like they want to be able to talk about it. Like that's how my friend Ashlyn is right now. Like I just text her like once a week or whatever and check in, and she always has so much that she needs to like get off her chest, and I just like validate her feelings. And
like would it be weird to ask them how often they want you to check in?
I don't think so.
because I feel like I would do that probably. Like, be like, I really don't want to be a bother to you, and I want to make sure that I'm checking in on you, and I care about you a lot. So like, let me know. But you also don't want to put that pressure on them to tell you too much. So
I think it's fine to just be like, I'm going to keep reaching out so that you know that I'm here for you, but like, I don't expect a response. I don't need you to like,
you know. You make a great point though, especially in death, like of that people stop at a certain point and like making sure that you're continuing after that is really important.
Yeah.
And also knowing that like everyone wants support in different ways. So it's okay to ask them and like ask them numerous times or just like be with them in different ways.
Yeah.
And it's okay to not have the right thing to say. And like you don't have to like try and think of all the different things to say.
But this is what I mean of like I kind of am getting out of the friendships in a way of their long distance. Like I can't go sit at somebody's house when they need me. Like that's so crazy. It's kind of sad.
But there are still other ways you can show up for them.
Yeah.
Ooh. Dev, I feel like this is a good one to answer for like this season. How do I balance wanting to celebrate my friend at her bachelorette party, insert any type of party or any type of get together, and being totally overwhelmed, overstimulated on the trip?
I saw that and I was like, I had a quick thought in my head. I was like, alcohol.
Damn it.
That's how I deal with being overstimulated in events like that. But I also do think, we talk about this a lot, like I need my alone time every once in a while, and making that clear with your friends. Like I'm going to go, like when I travel with friends now, I'm like, I need my own room. I need to have a place where I can go and recharge, or like I'm going to take a long shower because I need time.
It is so funny though, because like if you didn't know you and you were just like drunk at a party, you would have no idea like the way that you were feeling about it. Like you're so overly friendly and so talkative and so bubbly. And
me?
Yes. Like you would have no idea if you didn't know
I'm
you
drunk.
when
But
you're
I
drunk
think
at a party.
But like spending multiple days with you, there's like little signs where like you can tell like when you need to go like be alone or like have a little recharge moment. And I feel like you just preemptively telling people that is like so helpful. Like even for me, like I don't really take time like during a trip, but I will go to bed early because sleep is like really important to me. Like I will like leave and I will like start my bedtime routine, call Joe, and like go to sleep because that will help me like show up better in the morning. So like those little things I think are helpful.
Or like as the bride too, like I know all my friends and I know which ones are gonna want to go to bed early and which ones are gonna be asking to stay out longer and whatnot. Like so I would want to make sure if I had a friend that needed a room to herself, like I tried my best to make sure that everybody's needs were like taken care of as well.
But I also think too, sometimes like depending on the friendship with this person, like say you don't really see them that often, or like you've like adapted or you've gotten older, you like understand yourself better and they like don't know that you're introverted, or like they don't know like how much time you need to recharge. Like it's good to say that too. Because like one of my friends, like one of my best friends, I feel like I've always known she's introverted, but like in high school and college, like we would just spend like all of our time
talk
together.
about it as much.
And so like I can't remember what trip it was, but we just talked about her just being a little more introverted and like her having some alone time or like just recharge time. And it was just like great to know that, because I'm like, oh yeah, like go do your thing. Like
as I've gotten older, I've learned that 99.9% of life's problems can be solved by communicating. Like it's actually so crazy. If everyone just communicates their wants and needs and feelings, it usually works out.
Yeah.
It's so much easier said than done though.
I know.
I feel like it's so hard to communicate your like feelings or like what you want because it's such a vulnerable thing oftentimes.
Yeah.
Like it feels like really, I'm sure it feels like very vulnerable to be like, I really like need time alone. Like this is like important for me.
I think you need to do it beforehand though, because I know once I'm overstimulated or tired, I will just come off as I'm in a bad mood. Like I'll get quiet and just like tired. And yeah, in those moments, I'm not going to it's not going to be easy to be like, sorry, I'm really overstimulated, I'm an introvert. Like giving them the heads up beforehand so that they're not sitting there thinking like, oh my God, why is she in a bad mood? Like, what's wrong with her?
Yeah, or like texting conversations. Like if I'm too scared to have a conversation and be vulnerable in person or on the phone, like texting it instead.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't have lived without. I would have been writing so many letters back in the day, like to communicate my feelings.
Just passing notes.
No, literally.
And they're like just these vulnerable dumps of feelings.
This is one I feel like is always hard in friendships. How do you deal with boy crazy friends who are only interested in talking about dating when you're just living your best single life and don't have any desire to be in a relationship right now?
That's one of the reasons why I stopped hanging out with my friends in high school so much and started hanging out with Lexi's friends. Because I didn't want to talk about...
Were Lexi's friends not?
No, I mean, they wanted to talk about dance and go
they were
TPing
younger.
houses and
That's cute.
Yeah.
I think
that's tough.
I think there's like seasons for this. So I know with some of my friends, there's going to be like seasons where they're just like really, really into boys. And it's like part of me leans into it and gets excited about it and like lets them just go on about it because it's like, okay, tell me about the roster. Like, let me take notes. Let me like kind of like figure this out. And so I like embrace it to some degree, but then I also like ask them about other parts of their lives because sometimes like one of my friends, when she was like in this phase, she just felt very like not misunderstood, but like she had friends that were like, you're only talk about boys, like you're so boy crazy, blah, blah, blah. Like this is all you talk about. And really what she wanted like those other friends to know was that she was like craving connection. Like other people had people, but she was like craving connection. So we started talking about like that more. Like, and so yes, we still talked about her roster and her boys and dating and, you know, the dates and all the stuff. But we also talked about like what she wants for her life and like why it's important to her to like find a partner and what it means to her and like why she's feeling lonely and, you know, like just different parts of her life. So I think like making it about them as well and like what do they want and kind of caring about them as people can also be important. But also it's like it can't really last forever. So just like
that's what I was
know that
gonna
it's
say,
a
like,
season and
everything
it's kind of fun
seasons.
to embrace for some of it. And who knows, maybe you'll have a boy crazy season too.
Yeah, exactly.
It is hard though, like when you're an introvert, like if I'm not interested, I will get so tired. Like if we're having a conversation that I'm not into, like it's hard to be like fake enthusiastic about the boys this girl is seeing and stuff.
Yeah. That's why for me, like I really like put a lot of effort into my friendships where I give a fuck about like every part of them. Like, and it doesn't matter what topic you're talking about, like I will be invested. Yeah. Versus like if we only talk about two things.
Yeah.
Then
exactly.
Totally.
And it is seasons of life of like, oh, this is they're dating right now. They're going on all these dates, they have the roster, blah, blah, blah. Then new relationship. Then they might be way more in their own little boy new relationship world and not be paying attention to you as much. And then they're married or whatever. Like it always will continue. Like they'll always then have a partner or be in these different stages of life. Like
it'd be funny to, with this boy crazy friend, like just ask really deep questions to her. Like when she's going on about, oh, I met this guy who's so hot, he said this, and like be like, well, why do you think he's acting? You know, just like try.
Maybe that's what I do.
More deep, I
also more... depending on like how delulu they are and like how these boys are, because I think there's, especially when I was in college, it was like, oh no, like he likes you, he's just like scared of commitment, blah blah blah. I feel like this in like the 2025 age of dating, the brutal honesty of like he doesn't give a fuck about you is so needed now. Like and I think it's like more culturally acceptable to be like, oh, he didn't respond to you for 2 days, I wouldn't I wouldn't give him any more of your effort. Like, he's gone. Like, be really straight up about those things, because I think something that does drive me crazy is when girls are like very stupid about boys and they're like, what do you think this means? I'm like, he doesn't give a fuck about you. He wants to have sex with you. He wants to like, oh, but he took me on a really expensive date. He has money.
He's showing
like,
off. Yeah.
No, he just has money and he doesn't care. Like, he just wants to go out to this nice dinner. He probably wanted this steak and then he wants to bang. Like, that's all there is to it. And it was just,
and that's where it comes in, though, of having friendships of the similar life places of you, of that friend who's dating in their roster can go to their other friend who's currently dating, and they can be so excited talking about all their fun dates.
You got it. Oh, there was also another thing. She said you can negotiate the friendship about. So, like, in these situations where maybe you're not connecting on that level, change the about. Like, you have the power to do that. So negotiate the about. It's very cold, scientific sounding, but
I feel like the way we've negotiated the about for pop culture is you guys get to like educate me on pop culture, and I don't need to be like invested and like know all the things that happen.
Totally
true.
Because I can't keep up. I know my like 2 things.
Yeah.
No, you know your things. You're just in a separate world, but you know them well. You're invested in your own pop culture.
But my pop culture, like, acumen and, like...
It's just a little corner of the internet.
And I get so excited about it, but then, like, there's other big things that happen, and I'm like, I don't get it.
So, but then we don't know. We didn't know Scout the City. We thought her name was Scout for the past 4 years.
But, like, the fact that you do get excited about it is good. Like, that we can educate you on it. But like, say you didn't care and you didn't want to be educated on it, then it would be like, okay, let's not really talk about this unless
that's true.
You know, it's not. Do you guys want to do a political one?
No.
What is it? Just you don't agree?
Just like making new friends and realizing they're all Trump supporters.
Oh, fuck. I actually, at the picnic yesterday, there was a new person and she made a comment negatively about Trump, and I was like, yes.
That's like how we were with my pickleball friends. Like, we kind of sussed each other out a little bit and like would just like throw little jabs to like slowly dip our toe and see like,
just like see a little bit.
Yeah. And then like once we all realized, we were like, okay, good.
I think it matters though, like how, like, are they calling Democrats like what are they called? What did they say?
Snowflakes?
Snowflakes, or, whatever they want to say.
Cheap.
Or are they just like, I like Trump and blah blah blah? Like, you know what I mean? And
that's what I was
like,
gonna say
too. Are they
Is,
obsessed?
like, because for your abouts, like I have certain friends that I would speak about politics with, or if I see something in the news, I go like to you guys or like some other friends that I go to specifically where I know they will be as angry as me about the same things. And that's good to have. Yeah.
The person did say, I legitimately love these girls, but also they voted for Trump. So I
don't think it matters if like you love everything about them and then they voted for Trump, if they're not being like, well, you're a fucking pussy because you voted for Kamala. Like, so.
Well, I'm assuming they don't. I'm assuming that they just voted for Trump, but they're not like, I think this might be an opportunity to educate them.
No.
If they are open to, I think so. If you're young and
it's hard though.
If you're new friends, no. I would not take it to the political side of things.
No, I mean, as your friendship deepens. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, because you voted opposite of me, we can't be friends. It's more like, we can still get to know each other, and maybe we can, she said she loves them, so like you can understand each other better. You can, you know.
I do think there's a difference of like my friends I have that voted for Trump, I know they're not homophobic, they're not these things that I don't know how to explain this. I know that their vote went against their beliefs that they say they have or whatever, but I know that they don't think that way. Versus if I met someone who was blatantly homophobic, I wouldn't want to be friends with them.
That's
right.
Because they don't agree with my same morals. And obviously people can argue if you voted for Trump that you don't agree with those same morals. That's a very valid argument.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there's homophobic people that voted for Kamala too. So it's like,
sure. Yeah. Like you just don't.
It's more of like what are your overall values?
Mm-hmm. Should we save the rest?
Yeah. Sure. I'm just trying to see like what if there's. I mean, all of them are really good. So
I think we should definitely do let's do a full Q&A next week.
Okay.
Because we have to do 2 episodes too next week, I think.
Oh, perfect. Well, I think these went well with the episode topic.
Yeah, they sure did.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna be reflecting, honestly. Like this is gonna make me think about myself as a friend.
Yeah, right.
Let me know if I need improvements, guys.
I get
feel
very
free to communicate.
I kind of love these friendship things, but then I also get very in my head about them.
Yeah, when it is so scientific.
I'm like, oh my god, do I need to fix my entire life?
With these, they kind of inspire me and motivate me, and then I don't do anything about it. I'm like, oh my god, yes.
Temporarily inspired.
That's one of your most frustrating qualities. You get yes, I'm gonna be empowered, and then you're like, nah, I don't want to do it.
That's so relatable, though.
I know,
but I'm here for your empowerment in whenever you decide to take action.
Love that. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you tune in next week while we finish answering all these questions. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to watch our video. Join our Patreon if you want to get access to a bunch of bonus videos, weekly bonus episodes, and monthly member-only Q&As. Leave us a rate and review wherever you listen to podcasts, and we'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.
Bye.